stones there could be a bit of snow. Now if there was, then we'd need to perhaps either scrape some lights off to get the paint off. We may have to come in with some paint later on if we wanted to put something behind them. I think I'll not worry too much about that side, the right hand side of the picture. I think what I'll do over on the left hand side of the picture is using a very dark ultramarine mix to go over to the other side of the paper using the fan brush, because the fan brush is slightly haphazard in its use, and for that reason it's quite useful. And I'll put behind it some nearby conifer trees. Now this is not going to actually touch the top of the stones. I'm leaving a slight gap to indicate there may be a little bit of snow there, so but this is just sideways movements of this thing. It's given us a conifer tree now which is in the foreground, and it's sitting behind this left hand dry stone wall. And we'll put another one here. Let's start at the top, just get the top bits in, and you find that most brushes are good for something, and this fan brush is very good for doing trees. So try not to come right the way down, because then if I wanted there to be snow standing on top of these this wall, then it gives me a chance to put a little bit of white there. I'll leave a little bit of white there, I should say. So there we are. We have a couple of trees standing there. Now we could have perhaps a different type of tree down here, using a just a round brush. This is a nylon round brush. I'll just run up a trunk of a tree, and as I take the pressure off, it'll get thinner as it goes up. Let's put another, so that may be not a huge tree, maybe more a big winter bush. Just taking some branches away. Generally it's a bare winter tree. On the other side of the road, nearer to us because it's much more dominant in tone. Now if this picture works, and I hope you'll try it, what you'll find is that these darks in the foreground, as soon as you start painting them, will push the midground away, and the midground, with a bit of luck, will have already pushed away the distance. This particular picture could go on for miles, so you could use the lighter tones much further away, but you'll find that this is a really interesting way of learning how to create distance in your pictures, and also it possibly will stop you getting dark too quickly. One of the major problems with students is they very often will use the same tones in the foreground as in their background, and the whole picture becomes flattened. What we'll lose is what we're called in this business aerial perspective. So there we have a tree sitting behind the right hand side, and we better have a couple of birds in the sky. I think maybe would be birds out. So this could be a snow scene. I haven't put anything in the picture to perhaps indicate that it's any other season, and a couple of birds flying away up there. Anything else we can do? Well, you can play around in the foreground, put in all sorts of sticks and things in if you want. If it's snow, then you might want to leave it looking fairly, how can we put it, it's fairly loose, unfussy. Maybe a couple of fence posts would help. So I'll put a post by there, maybe a post down there, and one further down, perhaps link them together. Maybe a bigger one up here, nearer to the dry stone wall, and then we'd have an idea that there is perhaps the edge of a road, and off it's a break in the dry stone wall going down. But that seems to looks to me fairly effective, so I'll call that one finished, and I hope you try it. It's a really good way of painting tonally, practicing tonally, and reserving your darkest darks until you get into the foreground.